Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to be working in a garage. I have the Scag Tiger Cub sitting in here, and that's the one that has to have the head gaskets replaced. Or at least one of them replaced, but I'm going to be replacing both of them just to eliminate having another problem through the summer. Because I noticed late in the season that the head gasket was bad on the one side. So I am going to tear this thing down and see what we need for parts. I do not want to order any parts until I know everything I'm going to need, so that way I can just order it all at once. And then I'll probably have to order from a couple different places just because of how long it's going to take for me to get the parts. I will try to order things locally, but it all depends on the prices there too, because sometimes the prices are twice as much as what they are online, and it's the same exact parts. I've never taken the heads off of one of these Kawasaki engines. I've taken Briggs engines all apart several times, but should be about the same, I'm thinking, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. So I'm going to have to take this top part off, the air cleaner off, and the whole back off, so might as well start getting on taking them apart. So I power washed it off as good as I thought, but it's still all full of oil everywhere, isn't there? It's caked everywhere, so I think I'm going to take this bottom plate completely off and get out of the way and just put a drain pan under there and use some brake clean and clean that all up before I get too far into it. And this is where it would be great if it was nice outside, so I could power wash everything outside and get that all cleaned off. Since it's freezing cold now, I can't do that. Yesterday it was 50 degrees with rain, and it was kind of uncomfortable outside. Today it's 15 degrees with 25-mile-an-hour winds, so it's not good. And if you notice, I'm wearing a hat today. I went and got my hair cut. So my head's a little cold, so I'm wearing a hat now for just a little while till I get used to it again. So this, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna start tearing things apart and cleaning it up as I'm going. It'd been nice to have all that grime off of there, but it's gonna be a mess. So I just gotta clean her up. Okay, bracket's off, and there's a lot of grime on that. Okay, let's pull the buffer off. There we go. Oh my. And that's the mess I have. This You know, I got a piece of cardboard on there, might as well get it clean or not. I have to get cleaned up anyhow before I put it back together, so. Since I jacked up the front of the lawnmower there, everything's going to run to the back anyhow, so I just get this dripping all in this pan. While that's dripping, I might as well tear the top of this off. Okay, after pulling this cover off, this is a mess. Look at all that oil in there. And dirt. This side's not as bad, but it is covered. But I could see most of it was generated from this side. So it is a mess. Now this is going to take a little bit to clean up. It's going to actually probably take quite a bit to clean up. So I guess keep taking it apart. First I'm going to have to clean all this off though first. There's no way I want to pull any more of this out. That is really bad. It looks like I better pull this cover off just to make it easier on me while I'm cleaning. I thought I was going to try and isolate it, keep it cleaner, but just not going to work. And more caked on stuff, lovely. Okay, after a half hour of cleaning on it and scraping and digging stuff out and another bottle of brake clean, I've got about as far as I'm going to get cleaning on it until I take more parts off. So I'm going to just start taking more parts off. Okay, I got more of it cleaned up here. There's still a little bit here and there, but for the most part it's cleaned up. So I am going to pull the valve cover off. That's a little over 4 thousandths. So I'll be adjusting the valves on these too. That's a lot. So let's get the spark plug out. Yeah, that might be 4 thousandths. I have to put a feeler gauge in there before I put it back together. So let's pull the head off. Head should pop right off. And it did. Camera will pick this up or not. Yeah, see how dark it is right here? Yeah, I don't know if it can see it or not. I can see it, but it's it's on the face here. You can see how dark it is right here. That's where the head gasket was leaking right there. Okay, so now that's all apart, and I'm going to have to order head gaskets, intake gaskets, exhaust gaskets, and valve cover gaskets. And this is a 19 horsepower Kawasaki engine, FH601V, and this is the code for it and everything. So I'm going to go check online and see how much the parts are, and then check with I think there's one shop that's open tomorrow, since tomorrow is Saturday, but I'm not positive or not. But one thing I've watched on YouTube is you could take these 19 horse Kawasaki engines and turn them into 25 horse Kawasaki engines just by changing one thing. Now, you just change this shaft right here, and what it does is it allows these butterflies to open up a little bit farther. I've seen a couple videos on this, and along with the changing the butterflies, you also have to change the RPMs. So I noticed difference between my new mower, which is a 23 horse, and this mower, which is a 19 horse, is the RPMs are quite a bit different. I have the part number for that shaft to change it, and I'll probably be ordering everything all at once. So if there's anybody that has changed the horsepower from a 19 horse to a 23 horse using that method, I'd be greatly appreciated to hear some of your comments. Just put the comments down below there and see what anybody's experience is, because I have never done that, and I've heard it several times, several people doing it, but I don't know what the end result was, or if it did any damage to anything else. Kind of a new thing I was kind of looking at, and the part is $30. The shaft is $30. It's not that big of a deal, but if it's going to create more problems, I don't really want to do that. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to get the parts online or anything like that, but I have 2 months before I even have to worry about cutting grass, so I can wait. I'm not in a hurry, so that's why I'm going to spend most of the weekend, or not most of the weekend, a few hours over the weekend researching the parts and see where I could get them at the cheaper price if possible, and I'll check out my local dealerships. There's a couple dealerships here I can order the parts through, and I'm not in a hurry, so it's, I can wait a week, so it's not a big deal to me. So I think I'm going to have probably about, I'd say probably about 2 more hours in cleaning this thing up, because it's just dirty. I'm sure some of the oil that's all sprayed around in there is from spilling oil over the time, from the previous owner, and some of it's probably from me too, but I tried to clean them up quite often, so a lot of it was already done, and I just didn't take the time to clean it up better than I did. And then also there's 1,200 hours on this mower. I put 400 hours myself on it, and I've had this mower a little over a year, so it's what is it? It's forgot how old this thing is now. I think it's a 2010. I'm not sure on that. 2010 or 2011. And the gentleman that owned it before me, he had 2 acres of grass, and that's all he did with it. Looking at the weather forecast in the near future there, it doesn't look like there's going to be too much snow. It's going to be cold again and back to winter normal temperatures, but don't look much for snow. We might get a few here and there, and maybe a couple of inches accumulation at one shot, and that's all a few days out. But so I have a lot of time to get this cleaned up and get it all ready to go. So that is going to be the end of my video for today. So everybody have a good evening, and we will see you at the next yard.